Good morning, guys and girls. Good afternoon, guys and girls. This Sunday afternoon chat, this Sunday morning and afternoon, seem to be being spent in the Birmingham airport. That's right, Birmingham, Alabama, on the way to Atlanta, trying to get to Atlanta. We were out there on that runway behind us this morning that you see out there, taking off. I was actually sitting beside a Delta Airlines pilot that was going over to Atlanta. That's going to fly down to Daytona today, and then fly out to California and back tomorrow. Big two-day deal. And visiting with him about that as we were taking off and just about to lift off the ground, they shut her down. They shut that engine down, avoided that, and I looked over at him and he went, "Uh-oh." And I said, "Well, it's better to happen here than, another 5 minutes away from here." And they shut her down and brought her back to the airport. And the pilot came on and said something about a door being ajar. When is a door ajar? When it's a little bit open, it's ajar. And a door being a little bit open, or actually, in the pilot, they're sitting beside me, said it's probably just a switch, and they probably have to replace that switch. Well, no big deal. I had 2 or 3 hours in Atlanta, so I'll be able to get back home. And Sherry is at Chris's house, and so at our ranch, and staying with Chris. And she needs to get back home because it's a 4-hour drive for her back home. Jack's flying back from San Diego today. I think he caught an airplane at 5:30 this morning. And as it turned out, I could have overslept and missed this airplane, and wouldn't have missed the airplane at all, because it's not going to fly until here in a bit, about another hour and a half where it's going to fly. A later plane out of Atlanta. So I get to Oklahoma City late this evening, and we're trying to figure out with Sherry if I can let her go on home and leave Chris there by herself. Might do that later this evening. I don't know. I'm not sure Sherry will leave her there by himself. I'm not sure if she will do that or not. She probably won't, just to be honest with you. But at any rate, just holding his phone, as you can tell, that's why it's shaking around so much. Doing a really lousy job. I don't have any other way to put it up here. Just kind of sitting out here watching. The airplane comes in every now and then, not very often. By the way, they said at Delta that they didn't have any maintenance people here in Birmingham, and they had to fly them in from Atlanta. So they're going to fly the maintenance guys in from Atlanta to work on our airplane. And if it's just a little switch, that's really something. That's an awful lot of money to spend for probably a $5 or $10 switch. But at any rate, we're stuck in the Birmingham airport. But it's been a great week out there. We had a great week. We didn't get back to the ranch till Monday night. But once we got back there, we just had a really good time at the ranch this week. We had some really cold weather in there, but not violent weather. Just a little bit more rain, I think 0.4 of an inch. Got a little bit more forecast the rest of the month, so we're getting blessed with a little rain this year. We still need the big ones to fill the lakes up, but water is running through the dam, as you can see by one of the videos in the last day or two. Running through the spillway, which is good. Not in Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake, that's a long way for it to get up to that spillway. But it's going to take a bunch of rain to fill that one. But we had a good week. Really did not get to fish much. I did fish about a couple hours with one of my buddies, Steve Perkins. We caught 4. That's right, 4. That's all. Caught, I think, 2 on a spinner bait, 1 on an Alabama rig, and Steve caught a really nice one, the biggest one we caught, as a matter of fact, about 6 pounds on a jig. But that's all we got to fish. But we've got a great fishing week coming up here in a couple of weeks. We're going to be heading down to the Florida-Georgia line, fishing at Live Oak in Georgia and Bienville Plantation in Florida, which are 2 really good places. I fished Bienville several times before over the last 40 years. I guess it's been 4 or 5 years probably since I've been there. So it's a real treat for me to get to go to Bienville Plantation. Live Oak is another really nice place with several lakes on it. And I understand it's really good fishing. I'm going to be fishing one day on each of those places is with my friend John Robinson. And John works for Kirk Trailer Hitches. We run Kirk Trailer Hitches. We don't really have any kind of sponsorship deal with them. I've got a buddy of mine that worked for them for a long time, Lee Edelman, who's retired. But so I've got a really great relationship with Kirk Trailer Hitches, and they're really good people. They make wonderful products. And hopefully I might get John to bring me a new trailer hitch and put on there. The one I've got on there is probably about 4 or 5 years old, but hard to tear up a trailer hitch, especially a Kirk trailer hitch. You can just move them from vehicle to vehicle, which is what I do. But they keep making them better all the time, so hopefully I might be able to get a new model that's a little bit more up to date than the model that I've got. But we're going to be fishing down there in a couple of weeks. This coming week, we'll be at the ranch pretty much all week. We've got beautiful days coming. Oh. Today is supposed to get over 70 there at the ranch. It's going to be 75 a couple of days. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is going to be great. I'm going to hopefully get away from that stinking desk and that bookwork that I'm like days and days and days behind on. And sometimes when Chris is taking a nap, I might slip out there and fish a little bit. And I don't really care if I catch him in or not. I just want to fish. Well, that's not exactly right. I do want to catch a couple. Don't have to catch a lot. Just get out there in the beautiful weather and have a great time. I have not taken Benelli in the boat with me yet, so we'll probably take Benelli. If I do, I'll probably share that with you a little bit and let you see. But we got a really good week at the ranch. We'll be there all week and have a great time. We had a tremendous time last night here in Alabama because of First Baptist Church, Ashville, Alabama. It's over by Gadsden. You know, it's a men's event. We had a few women there. We had a lot of women there during the dinner because the women fixed the dessert and really served us and just did a great job. Baptist women are like the greatest women in the world. You young boys and girls out there, you get a chance to marry a Baptist girl, marry that girl. Marry that girl if she likes to fish. Oh, and if she's not a Baptist, you might be able to make her a Baptist. I don't know, but you know, I just happen to be an old Baptist, but I go to a lot of non-denominational churches around the country, other churches as well, other denominations even. But I just love to visit churches, and that's a really good one they've got there in Asheville. Great people there. Tommy picked me up, come to the airport, picked me up, carried me all the way over down there to Asheville, and brought me back last night to the hotel here by the airport. Cost almost $200 for a hotel here, Holiday Inn. I can't believe the prices. Last year or 2 years ago, they were all about $80 or $90 a night, and that was like $193 or $195 or something like that. It's just crazy the way this inflation is in this country. I don't know what we're going to do about it. Probably not what we can do for a couple of years, but it's just really horrendous. And I guess that's not bad to go up double. You know, the price of eggs and some of the things have gone up way more than double, but you know, we're still paying over $1 a gallon more for gas than we were a couple of years ago, and hopefully that'll come back down. But I'm not real positive of that. I'm not positive if anything's going to come down. The way it's seeming, things go down a little bit and then they start creeping back up again. But anyway, we're gonna enjoy life every single day and hopefully not worry. Whoa, there goes an airplane just come in right there. See him back here behind me. Isn't that cool? How in the world do those big planes fly? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that something? But so we just had a great time. Several people were saved last night. Several men and young boys were saved last night. God was working mightily in that church. We had a tremendous meal, and they gave away about 10 guns. One of my buddies, a longtime fishing buddy of mine, Gary Howington, we fished tournaments all over the country together, and I've been at his house, stayed at his house, and my grandkids have been down there and fished in some of his ponds around his house there on his property, and just a super friend. And hadn't seen Gary in a while. He had a heart attack back in 2015, and when they put the stents in, he didn't have my son-in-law do it, and that's probably a problem. If he'd have been around home, my son-in-law could have done it and he wouldn't have had any problem. But when they put those stents in, somehow they messed up something, and his toes, a couple of them turned black. His big toe turned black the next day, and he's had to have about 6 toes amputated, but he still walks really well. He sort of stumbles a little bit, but he's fishing and doing really well. He brought me a couple of plug knockers, one for just getting regular crankbaits and stuff unhung, one for getting an Alabama rig. Had big rings on it, so when you let it down on your fishing line, it'll grab those Alabama rigs and get your Alabama rigs back. So it's a tremendous deal. I don't know if he's selling any of them on a retail deal or not, but he brought me 2 plug knockers last night and gave me over there at the deal. His daughter's husband, his son-in-law, won a gun last night. They gave away about 10 guns at that church. So you really missed a deal if you're around Asheville, Alabama, and didn't get to go to that last night, because it was a great evening, absolutely fantastic evening. A lot of men, a lot of boys there, and like I said, several people got saved. So God really worked a lot of wonders there. Spring is just around the corner. Fishing is getting good just about everywhere. They caught another 17-pound bass this last week down at Lake OHIV, 17.03, I believe, and it almost was a new lake record. The lake record 17.06, and 17.03 is a really giant fish. I wouldn't care if I had the lake record or not. I would have loved to caught one anywhere close to that. My biggest still, 13-1. I keep looking and looking and looking for those big fish. And I've caught 79 over 10 pounds, but cannot. And about half a dozen or so of those have been over 12 pounds, but no more over 13. One 13-pounder, and that's it. But we're still trying, and we'll be out there this week. We caught one out of Arbuckle a couple, 2 or 3 years ago that weighed 1187 and turned it loose in my lake. And if it's still alive, it probably weighs over 13. But if it's still alive, it's smart enough not to bite my bait. I'll put it that way. So we haven't been able to catch that fish. But anyway, we're having a great time out here, and just really thank the people at Ashville for allowing me to come down here and talk about last night what God is doing in my life. God is always doing something spectacular in my life, and He certainly gives me opportunities to share that. We got a lot more churches we've got scheduled for this year. Hopefully one of them is a church that you're nearby. You can come and visit with us. But I just say, guys and girls, go out there and have you a great week this week. It's spring is just around the corner. The fishing's getting good everywhere. Crappie fishing is spectacular in lots and lots of places right now, and it's going to get better. Just every week's going to get better. The water is beginning to warm up in a lot of places. A lot of places it's still just sitting there, solid, frozen. But that's going to start changing pretty quickly too. It looks like we may have an early spring. I don't care what that groundhog's saying. I'm amazing that people that think that they can control the climate, that thinks they can control the climate, rely on a gopher or a groundhog to see what the weather's going to be like for the next 6 weeks. That's amazing to me. And yet they think they can change the climate. I don't think so. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. And remember, I sure do love you.